Hello everybody and welcome to my review of the Xiaomi Redmi Note 3 Pro Global Edition. So there are a few special editions and a few more versions and I'm going to explain it in a second. But the phone is an awesome phone for the price and currently it is priced between 150 and 170 US dollars. And it may be a bit cheaper if you buy the 2GB version or if you buy the MediaTek version, which I don't have. It's also a bit cheaper if you get the non-global version, but you won't be able to use all the 4G bands available. So again, this is a solid phone for the price, and here is why. So like I said, there are a few different versions. First of all, there is the difference between the Pro model and the normal model. In China it is both called the Redmi Note 3 and we call it the Redmi Note 3 Pro because the Pro version has the Snapdragon 650 in it and the non-Pro version has a MediaTek processor in it. There's also an option to get a 2GB RAM, 16GB ROM version, and I got the 3GB RAM and 32GB ROM version. There is also a difference between the global and the non-global version, and the global version has the B4, B7, B20 and B28 bands for your 4G network. I know this is a big list, but it's there. Myself, I don't like it, but it's here and I got the most premium version. The phone works a Snapdragon 650, which is a great CPU for the price. It outperforms most 8-core CPUs in the price range, although it's only a 6-core itself. It has 2 cores that go up to 1.8 GHz, which is awesome for single thread performance, and those cores are Cortex A72. It also has 4 cores that go up to 1.4 GHz, which are Cortex A53 cores. The phone also has 3GB of RAM and an Adreno 510 GPU. I couldn't find much info on the GPU, but I must say it performs great in games. The body of the phone is pretty big, although I like it myself, it might not be in your taste. Also the back is made of aluminium, which feels pretty premium and actually feels like aluminium this time. Also on the back we have our camera on the top, our flashlight right behind it, and our fingerprint sensor is under the camera, which is a pretty nice position in my opinion. Also on the back we have our Mi logo, and we have our speaker grill, which sounds pretty decent. On the front we only have our speaker for calling and a camera. The buttons aren't on screen, so they are at the bottom. Myself, I prefer this, but it is up to you. On the bottom we have our microphone and our charging port. The charging port is micro USB, which is kind of the standard. On the top we have our second microphone for the background noise. We have our 3.5mm headphone jack, and we have an infrared sensor, which is really nice. On the left side we have our SIM tray, which is hidden pretty nicely. And on the right we have our power and our volume buttons, which are placed really nice, and they are also made of aluminium. This phone also isn't waterproof, which is no surprise for the price. The phone has a 5.5 1080p IPS screen, which is decently bright, and also the colors stand out really well. So it can go up pretty bright and also pretty low in brightness for if it's later. And there isn't really much glare, and there's also a technology called anti-sunlight, which prevents the sunlight from basically making it unable to see your screen when the sun is on it. Also the phone supports up to 10 fingers at once, which is great because most phones only support 5 fingers. For the price, the camera on the phone is really good. In the background I will show some examples. And on the back we have a camera that is 60 megapixel, and if you use a third-party app you are able to record at 4K. Although in the normal app you can only make photos in 4K, and actual video in 4K isn't available in the standard app. Also it is really sharp, and even on low light the quality is decent enough to make pictures. On the front we have a 5 megapixel camera, which isn't anything special, but it's sharp enough to make all the selfies you want and make them look pretty good. The battery of the phone is absolutely great. It is a 4050 mAh battery, And in the OS it actually says 4000, but it's actually 4050. It is charged by micro USB and I don't think there's any quick charge in it, although it charges pretty quickly on 2 amperes. Myself, I got 1 day out of 1 charge, which is pretty decent because I have screen on times for about 6 to well maybe 10 hours a day. So it's great to have it on 1 charge, and if you are a lighter user that doesn't game much, you can get up to 4 to 5 days probably out of the phone with only 1 charge. The fingerprint sensor is placed conveniently on the back, and it is a really nice place because your finger is pretty much always at that place. The only downside is if you have a case it could be harder to reach. It is a really fast fingerprint sensor because it takes about 0.7 seconds to boot up from standby if you use your fingerprint, and about 0.3 seconds if you have your screen turned on. So it's a huge plus and I really like it. Out of the box, the Android version is 5.1.1, which is MIUI 7.1, although you can upgrade it to Android 6.0, which is MIUI 8.0. The MIUI isn't anywhere near the stock Android, but it's pretty polished and feels really well. Myself, I prefer the stock Android, although MIUI has some stuff like second space and dual app, which makes it able to basically have 2 phones on 1 phone. Also, all the usual sensors are there, including infrared. Although it misses NFC, but it does have 5 GHz Wi-Fi support, which is really nice. Because of the great hardware inside, the benchmark scores are pretty high. In Antutu it scored 78,657, which includes the 3D section with a score of 18,779, a UX score of 2,743, a CPU score of 25,184, a RAM score of 7,260, and in Geekbench 4 the CPU scored 14,060 on single thread, 2,811 on multicore, and the compute power was 3,234. So this was my review of the Xiaomi Redmi Note 3 Pro Global Edition. It is a really nice phone, and for the price it competes with some flagship devices. So if you're looking for a phone under $200, I really recommend this one. So what do you think of the phone? Let me know down in the comments, drop a like if you liked it or dislike if you didn't, and I hope I can see you in the next video.